Hello students, today will be the last part of our chapter drawing. Okay, yesterday's video we have discussed about the fluidized bed dryer, how it works, its principle, construction, working, advantages and disadvantages. Also we have discussed about the spray dryer, what is happening in the spray dryer, where it is used. Okay, so today we will discuss about the vacuum dryer, means what is the principle of your vacuum dryer, how it works, how it looks in the, what is the design of the vacuum dryer. Okay, so let us start today's video with vacuum dryer. So what is the principle behind this vacuum dryer? That in this type of dryer, what is happening here, the material which is to be dried, okay, by the application of vacuum, as it, the name of this dryer is itself suggesting you कि some vacuum is being applied in this. Okay, and when the vacuum is created, so the pressure will be decreasing. Okay, pressure will get decreased, so that the water will boils at the lower temperature. And if the water is boiling at the lower temperature, then what will happen, the evaporation rate will become faster as compared to the time when the boiling of the water is at its normal temperature. Okay, so the heat transfer is very efficient in this, and the rate of drying also enhances substantially. Okay, now let us see the construction of our vacuum dryer. In this, firstly it is made up of a cast iron heavy jacketed vessel. Okay, you can see this steam jacket, it's known as steam pressure in the jacket. Okay, so it is so strong, so it can withstand the high vacuum within the oven and the steam pressure in the jacket too. And the enclosed space is divided into a number of portions by means of 20 hollow shelves, which are the part of the jacket only. Okay, and these shelves are provided by a larger surface area for the conduction of heat. Now over the shelves the metal trays are placed for keeping the material clear. Okay, and the oven door can be locked tightly to give an airtight seal, and the oven is connected to a vacuum pump, which is by placing the condenser in between. So this was the construction of our vacuum dryer. Now how it works, simply when the we have to keep the material inside the vacuum dryer, which is to be dried, and it is spread on the trays. The trays are placed on the shelves and the door is closed firmly. After that, pressure is decreased up to 30 to 60 kilopascals by means of a vacuum pump, and steam or hot air is supplied into this hollow space of the jacket and the shelves. Okay, so heat transfer is taking place by means of conduction. The mechanism of heat transfer here is conduction. Okay, and at this point the vacuum evaporation of water from the material takes place simply at 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, on the account of lowering of the boiling point of the water. Okay, and water vapor passes into the condenser where the condensation is taking place. At the end of the drying, vacuum line is disconnected and the material is collected in the trays only. Okay, so what are the various uses of our vacuum dryer? Like first, it is very good for heat sensitive material which undergo decomposition, and dust for the dusty and hygroscopic materials too. The drugs containing toxic solvents, it can be separated into closed containers, and the feed which contain valuable solvents, means the feeds which has to be recovered, okay, by condensation, we can use the vacuum dryer. Next is drugs which are required as such as porous end product, and last use is friable dry extracts. When we require the dry extracts, so we will go with our vacuum dryer. And what are the various advantages of the vacuum dryer? First one is it provides a large surface area for heat transfer. Second is handling of the material, trays and equipment is very easy. Third is it is easy for switching over to the next materials. Okay, so no need of wasting the time. Then hot water of the desired temperatures can be supplied. Last advantage is electrically heated hollow shelves can be used. And what are the various disadvantages? The heat transfer coefficient are very low in the vacuum dryer because we are applying vacuum in it. And second one is it has a limited capacity and use for the batch process. Third one is it is very expensive if we compare the vacuum dryer with the tray dryer. Okay, and the labor cost and the running cost are also very high. Last one is the sometimes there is danger of overheating as the material is in contact with the steam heated surface for longer period. So this was our vacuum dryer, its construction, its working, advantages and disadvantages. Now let us see freeze dryer. What is freeze dryer? Freeze drying is also known as lyophilization. And what is the term lyophilization mean? It is the system which is made solvent loving for removing the same. Okay, we are removing the solvent from any system by making it loving. Okay, so what is the principle behind the freeze dryer? Water is removed from the frozen state by sublimation, that is direct change of water from solid into vapor without converging it into the liquid state. Okay, we are changing the water from the solid into vapor. Okay, means for example you can say that ice is getting converted directly into vapor without getting converted in the form of water. Okay, from directly conversion of vapor by the solid without getting converted into the liquid phase. Okay, and what is happening in this? Solid liquid vapor equilibrium phase diagram of water is very useful to decide the experimental conditions. Means what are the various conditions in which the experiments can be taken down. Okay, the drying is achieved by subjecting the material to the temperature and the pressure below its triple point. Triple point means in practice you can say that the eutectic temperature. Okay, and in this condition any heat is transferred which is used as a latent heat and ice sublimes directly into the vapor state. Now how it is getting constructed? You can see here that it consists of basically four different things. First one is the drying chambers in which the tray is getting loaded. Second is the heat supply in the form of radiation source, means the heating coils are there. Third one is the vapor condensing or adsorption system, and last one is the vacuum pump or steam ejector or both. Okay. Now what is actually happening in the construction of our freeze dryer? The chamber of the vacuum dryer is generally designed for batch operation. Okay, it consists of shelves for keeping the material, and the distance between the subliming surface and the condenser must be less than the mean path of the molecule. Okay, so this increases the rate of drying, and at last the condenser consists of a relatively large surface cooled area by solid carbon dioxide slurred with the acetone or ethanol. Okay, and the temperature of the condenser must be much lower than that of the evaporated surface of the frozen substance. Okay, now let us see the working of our freeze dryer. Basically it consists of in various 5 steps only. First is the preparation and pre-treatment. Second is pre-freezing to solidify water. Third one is primary drying, means sublimation of ice under vacuum. Fourth one is secondary drying, removal of the residual moisture under high vacuum, and last one is packing. Okay, so let us see what happens in the first step, preparation and pre-treatment. Means when the volume of the solution it is introduced into the container, okay, it is of limited by its the capacity. Okay, so satisfactory freeze drying beyond a certain limit of depth of liquid is not possible. So pre-treatment is essential. So what is happening here? The solution is pre-concentrated under normal vacuum tray drying, okay, and it will reduce the actual drying by 8 to 10 times, and the final product becomes more porous, okay. So the liquid or the solid desiccants are also used for this purpose. So preparation and pre-treatment step is done. Second one is pre-freezing to the solidify water. So the vials, ampoules or any bottles in which the aqueous solution is packed are frozen in the cold shelves. Okay, the temperature of that is about minus 50 degrees Celsius. And what happens during this stage? The cabinet is maintained at low temperature and atmospheric pressure, and the normal cooling rate is about 1 to 3 Kelvin per minute, so that the large ice crystal with relatively large holes are formed on the sublimation of ice, okay. This is also responsible for giving us a porous product, okay. Now third step is primary drying. Primary drying means sublimation of ice under vacuum. So what is happening in this step? The material to be dried is spread as much large surface area is possible for the sublimation, and the temperature and the pressure should be below the triple point of water, that is 0.0098 degrees Celsius and 0.533 kilopascals, okay, for the sublimation when the water alone is present. And in this, when a solution of the solid is dried, depression of freezing point of the water occurs, okay. So this was the primary drying. Next one is secondary drying, means the removal of the residual moisture under high vacuum. In this, the traces of the moisture is removed. The temperature of the solid is raised as high as up to 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, but vacuum is lowered. Below that, it is used in the primary drying, okay. So the rate of drying is very low and it takes about 10 to 20 hours. Last step is packing, that after vacuum is replaced by the inert gas, the bottles and vials are closed, okay. So this was the working of our freeze dryer. Uses of our freeze dryer: it is used for drying of a number of products like blood plasma, bacterial and viral culture, human tissues, antibiotics, plant extracts, steroids, vitamins, enzymes, etc. Advantages: sterility can be maintained, denaturation does not occur, loss of the volatile material is also very less, the final product can be stored at ambient temperature, and so on. And what are the various disadvantages? The equipment and the running cost are very high. It is a very means you can say that it is having a very high cost, okay. Then it is difficult to adopt the method for the solution that contains non-aqueous solvents. And last one is the period of drying is very high as compared to any other dryers, okay. So this was the freeze dryer, and we have completed the working construction of the freeze dryer, okay. So we come to the end of our chapter drying. I hope you have reached up to the point, you have understood all the equipments, all the various theories which I have taught to you through this video, okay. So thank you students, thank you very much. I hope you get it.